Next Monday, Iowa lawmakers are going to start their work for this new year with taxes, workers, and schools at the top of their agenda. On Tuesday, the governor will give her annual speech to lay out her top priorities. She'll do it over the dinner hour. Again, we're going to carry that live here on WHO 13 News at 6 on Tuesday. COVID-19 has dominated our lives over the past 2 years. It's killed nearly 8,000 Iowans, sickened hundreds of thousands. It's also strained healthcare businesses, families, and everything it impacts. It's going to be part of the conversations at the State House and this new legislative session. Political Director Dave Price joins us. Of course, that's going to be the big topic. The question is, how? How are they going to talk about this and frame it, Dave?
Yeah, and a lot of it is really, from the Republican standpoint, would be moving ahead to recovery on this. So, they have to look at workforce, for example. You have a lot of people who have left the workforce, and they have to figure out what's it going to take to get them back in. We're looking at healthcare right now. Look at the strain on the healthcare system. I had asked the governor today. Some other states' governors are using National Guard members to come in and try to bring some relief to some of these hospitals where doctors and nurses are overworked and exhausted after 2 years of trying to fight the virus, and along with all the other things that people bring into the hospital with them. A lot of people put off surgeries for so long because of the virus. Now they're trying to get care for a lot of things, so things are sort of pent up, all this pent up demand plus the virus, so many things to think about. The governor's saying at this point she's not going to join other governors who decided to do this. She's instead focusing on the move that they had to recruit and bring in out-of-state nurses. They'll pay about $9 million or so estimated to pay these folks about $220 an hour to provide some relief in some of these hospital settings to try to help out. But when you're talking about framing it around the virus here, Dan, for Republicans, they are really looking in a lot of ways on pushing back against any kind of mandates. Now, don't necessarily expect any kind of legislation about them at the beginning of the session, though. They believe it would be most prudent to wait to see what these court decisions are, to see if some of these mandates are upheld, and then decide if they have to go in and try to pass something.
Yeah, regardless, it gets framed up there at the State House. They're basically going to say, hey, if Democrats were in charge, you would have a bunch of mandates, and we're the ones keeping them away from you, right?
Right. Mandates definitely not something Republicans want to look at unless they need to fight them down the road.
Okay, stepping away from COVID just a little bit here, this idea of tax breaks. Pat Grassley said it at the start of the show here. Of course Republicans want tax breaks. They've always wanted tax cuts. Explain why this time it's different.
And this also ties into COVID. You think about, it seems like gazillions, but there were trillions of dollars that came into the state through federal COVID-19 stimulus money, this relief money. They came in different ventures here, not to mention all the money that people got in the form of stimulus checks on the individual basis here. But the bottom line here is that the state's bottom line is very good right now. They have a couple of $1 billion sitting in some of these accounts now. And Republicans are looking at this, and you mentioned Speaker Grassley. He's saying this is an overpayment by taxpayers, so they want to return some of this. Now, you can make the argument that federal taxpayers are going to, in a sense, help Republicans pass tax cuts to Iowans, if you follow this, because they're using federal money here, and that helped to help the bottom line here and put a lot of money in here. Now, Republicans will also say, though, they've been in charge for 5 years now, complete control at the State House. They've been working their way toward this, cutting spending with the ultimate goal, one day, they're not saying it's going to be this year, but one day they want no state income tax at all like some other ones have. They say, though, don't expect that they're going to be able to pull that off this year.
Well, obviously that's the big goal, eventually. And Dave, is the idea behind that to make Iowa competitive with some neighboring states that don't have a state income tax? You can get more people here, so you get some more workers to fill up these job vacancies.
For sure, and this workforce shortage has been a thing before COVID caused all these problems, and it's exacerbated now. We mentioned people have left the workforce, but there just are not enough people out there to fill the jobs that companies are trying to fill. There are all kinds of different factors here, and some of it is that some workers don't have the skills necessary for some of these jobs. Some of the jobs don't pay what people need them to pay, but we don't have enough people moving to this state to compete with the growth in some of these other states as well. I also looked up baby making, if you will. I should probably phrase that in a different way. Sorry.
Delete your history, Dave.
Yeah, sorry. It's a family show. Sorry, wrong phrase. But the amount of children Iowans are having, wondering where we compared nationwide here, and it's kind of middle of the road here. So, there is no baby boom in Iowa to try to replenish the older folks who have left the workforce here. So they have to find a way to get more people into the workforce so that these businesses can grow, because the population has been very slow growing for a century now.
Yeah, we'll clip that last bite.
Yeah, sorry about that. That
we'll
was
get
the wrong
that on
choice.
Twitter just as fast as we possibly can. Seriously, though, Dave, thank you so much. And we'll be looking to you as all of these issues play out up there at the State House in the next coming months.
For sure.